We're back for our NFL Week 3 predictions here on the channel. After a good Week 2, we come back here for 16 more games for Week number 3 of the NFL season. Now, before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more NFL picks weekly here on the channel. Yesterday, we posted our full college football Week 4 predictions. Every single game, there's 50 of them this week for college football. I predicted every single game in a 3-hour and 45-minute time span, so you're not going to miss that video. That is linked in the description down below. Also, go make sure to check out our daily MLB best bets here on the channel. We are fastly approaching the end of the MLB regular season, so make sure to go check out our daily MLB best bets as well. Greedo plays MMA, the MMA channel, linked in the description down below. Go subscribe to both channels as we get on now to the first of our 16 games this week for the National Football League. Starting things off on Thursday Night Football from Orchard Park, New York, we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. What can I say about the Dolphins? This team is horrendous. They lose on Sunday to the New England Patriots, a game that I was fully expecting Miami to win. Now, Tyreek Hill had his big gain of over 30 yards, but Miami still loses the football game, and this is what I was concerned about for Miami, and this is why I was so confident they were going to beat the Patriots, because you need to win that game. Because now you're going to Buffalo on a short week. You will lose the game by 28 points. This game will be over in the first half. Miami never plays well in Buffalo. They've gone to Buffalo for the playoffs in the last 4 years, and they have done nothing but lose in Buffalo. This will not go well at all. And sure, it was Skylar Thompson, that one playoff game for them. I hate the matchup for them. Miami never plays well going from, warm South Beach, Miami, Florida, all the way up to Buffalo, New York. That's a brutal matchup for them. It's always going to be a brutal matchup. And this year, there's nothing different. The Bills might be the best team in the NFL. No, I think they are the best team in the NFL. Oh, the Packers. They're good, but Buffalo's better. Why? Because they have the best player in football, and that's Josh Allen. Bills last week run right through the New York Jets. Okay, I thought the game was going to be a lot closer. I think I didn't fully appreciate how good the Bills truly are. They're great. Now, what will happen in the playoffs? I don't know, but look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that the team that the Bills need to be concerned about still? Yeah, it is. But the Chiefs are not going to be some powerhouse going into the postseason this year. Okay, they're just not. The Los Angeles Chargers are probably going to win that division. We will see once we get there. I think there's a very good chance we see Bills-Chargers AFC Championship game. I like the Ravens, but what in the Lamar Jackson era have the Ravens done in the playoffs to warrant any postseason hype? Nothing at all. And I like Lamar. But I'm going with the Bills to destroy the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is still not playing at a high level. He's not. Tua threw for 300 yards, but, it wasn't enough, obviously, right? Threw a costly interception. Tua's still throwing the ball in the middle of, triple coverage at times, not loving the way he's playing. This is going to be a rough matchup for them. If you're the Dolphins, you're hoping to get out of Buffalo on a short week, uninjured, and then you got to get ready for a Monday night game in 2 weeks against in a week and a half against the New York Jets, which is extremely winnable, especially we'll see if Justin Fields is playing or not. We'll get into the Jets later in the video, but the Dolphins are walking into Buffalo to get slaughtered. They are. Josh Allen last week with another superb performance, just doing what he needs to do. Okay, I know, again, am I glazing a 150 passing yard day? No, I am, because what Josh Allen does on the ground. 6 carries, 60 yards. The guy puts his team in a position to win every single game. Bills win 30-10 on the road. I know the Jets are not the best team, but look how closely the Jets played the Pittsburgh Steelers in week number 1. So I don't think it's a bad win at all for the Bills. I think this is a team that is probably going to win upwards of 13 games this season, maybe more. And look at their schedule, too. Look at what the Bills play the first 5 weeks of the season. Already Ravens and Jets. The Ravens were the hard game. Dolphins, Saints, Patriots. Falcons, Monday night. Panthers. Chiefs got to go to Buffalo. Then you go to Miami. And then you host the Buccaneers. There's a legitimate chance this team starts 9-0. And then we'll go from there. I would be surprised if they don't win 14 games. The games they can possibly lose. Eagles. I'll throw Pittsburgh on the road, Tampa, and then I guess Kansas City. Those are the 4. They're going to win at least 1, though. So that's a 14-win season for the Buffalo Bills. Keep saying, I'll be damned if this is not Josh Allen's year. Again, there are some other teams. Chargers are right there this year, too, I believe. We'll get into them later. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to win at home and cover on Thursday night. This is the worst possible environment for Tua, and the Dolphins, it's not going to go well. Bills cover 12.5 easily. This is going to be a 20-plus point blowout for the Bills. Next up, we go to the Sunday games. We're going to kick things off in Cleveland, Ohio for the Cleveland Browns and the Green Bay Packers. Yes, I'm fading the Packers for the third consecutive week. Well, no, we're taking the Browns for the third consecutive week was what I'm looking for here. Well, and actually both are true. I'm fading the Packers again. The Packers haven't been on the road yet this year. They have not been on the road. They've not been away from Lambeau. Is that going to make the biggest difference? I don't know, but guys, the Browns are better than you think they are. Last week did not go that well in Baltimore. It is what it is, all right? They're going to be much better back at home. Look how they played the Bengals in week number 1. They should have won that game. You go on the road, it is what it is. You go to M&T Bank, you go to Baltimore, Maryland. That's going to be a difficult game for you, okay? It is what it is there. They get the Packers now. I think they're going to go out there and probably cover against the Packers. Win? No, they're not going to beat Green Bay. Cleveland's got some tools, man. I like what Joe Flacco's doing this year. Oh, he threw a bad interception last week. Oh, he got strip sacked for a fumble recovery touchdown. Okay, yeah, the game got away from them as the game went on. But I think what the Browns are doing, and you watch that first half, not a horrible first half at all for the Browns. I know they scored 3 points, but the defense keeps them in the game, and that's my thing. The defense for Cleveland is severely underrated. And obviously, right, Myles Garrett alone is going to make a defense great, but the pieces around him, I think it's a decent defense as a whole. And you look offensively, I think they're starting to get a grasp of what they want to do, right? 2 tight end sets the entire game. David Njoku, Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin has outgained Njoku in the first 2 games of the season. And on the ground, I think, the Browns made it pretty clear last week. Quinshad Judkins is the number 1 back. 10 carries, 60 yards. I know some of that came when Dylan Gabriel came in at the end of the game, but Quinshad Judkins is the number 1 back now for Cleveland. That's fair. Jerome Ford, I like. Dylan Sampson, rookie out of Tennessee. No, Judkins is their guy. So if you get that young core going, and this is all this year is for the Browns, were they expected to win this year? Hell no. Hell no. You know? Flacco's just a bridge quarterback. I mean, again, it's kind of a nostalgia play, obviously, from a couple seasons ago when they made the postseason with Joe Flacco. But this is all they're trying to do is just develop this young core, and I think Flacco's slinging it's going to keep him in some games. Now, Green Bay, they're great. You know, Green Bay might be, they are elite. They're an elite team in football this season. I have a feeling, though, they're going to kind of fade as the season goes on. You know, it's just one of these examples to me. You got hot. Well, you are hot to start the year. And as the year goes on, something's going to happen to them. They look, again, you beat the Lions and Commanders in the first 2 weeks of the season. Lions won the division last year, won 14 games. Washington Commanders lost in the NFC Championship game last year. You can't ask for a better start. And then you get Cleveland, and then you get Dallas. The problem I have with Green Bay, their bye week's week 5. So essentially, I mean, you got to play, unless you get that bye in the first round, I mean, you're going to have to play upwards of, you're going to have to play 15 weeks straight of football, probably. Maybe they get the bye, but I don't know. There's some good teams in the NFC. Hell, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a really good team. And the Packers play in the NFC North. They're given to lose some games. I'm going to tell you. I think the Bucs are going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC this season. I think they're going to. I think that team is that good. And we have taken them at plus money, or at least close to plus money in back-to-back weeks. Philly, too. You got to watch out for the Eagles, obviously. But that's a problem with Green Bay. You know, you get that week 5 bye week, and everything comes at you right after that. Anyways, though, they'll beat the Browns. I don't think they cover against the Browns. I like what the Packers do. Jordan Love looks unstoppable some nights. Run game could be better. It could be. Josh Jacobs, obviously, is going to run for a touchdown every single game. It's just the yardage could be a little bit better out of him. But Packers are a pass-first offense right now. Tucker Kraft did a big game against the Washington Commanders, partially because, Washington couldn't guard him, and they had Marshawn Lattimore in their secondary, and he couldn't guard anybody. But it is what it is, right? Good win for the Packers. I think they go into Cleveland. I think the Browns cover. I think Flacco slings it a little bit. I think Green Bay definitely wins the football game. But they need to win by more than 1 score. They need to win by 9 points. It's a road environment. First time you've gone on the road all year long, and you go into Cleveland. I don't love it for the Packers. I wouldn't play it personally. Definitely not. Check out our best bets on Saturday morning for my 5 favorite bets of the week, and then later in the day for our player props. But I'm going to be going with the Browns to cover 8.5 on Sunday against the Packers. Next up, we move to Nashville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans host the Indianapolis Colts. How about Indiana Jones? My goodness. How about Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones, 2-0 now as the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, and who has predicted the 2-0 start? who predicted week number 1 prior to that game against the Miami Dolphins, thank you, that Daniel Jones was going to work out here. That was me. I told you Daniel Jones was going to be very effective for the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to win a lot of games this year, and he was way better fit than Anthony Richardson. That was me. Daniel Jones is more than capable. And is Daniel Jones right now playing his way into a $100 million contract? Oh, he is. He's this year's Sam Darnold, and I'm fully buying in now. Danny Dimes, guys, the Colts are the first team in NFL history to go 2 weeks without punting the football. It's everything Caleb Williams told his punter Troy Taylor that they were going to do in Chicago. No, the Colts are actually doing that. Daniel Jones giving his punter 3 weeks. Colts go on the road to Tennessee. They're not punting this week. The Titans defense hasn't looked bad the first couple weeks of the season. They haven't. They really haven't. Rams game, they stayed in there until the second half. Broncos game, it's a very tightly contested game. But the Rams in the second half did what the Rams should have done the entire football game, right? They had a drive in the second quarter where Stafford takes them all the way downfield and they have to settle for a 20-yard field goal. And then the Titans score that touchdown, the Cam Ward first ever touchdown where he's rolling to his right and then throws it cross body to Alec Eomanor for a touchdown, the rookie out of Stanford. And, eventually, right, Titans take a 13-10 lead going into halftime. The final score is 33-19. Rams locked in. Stafford continues to sling it, and the Rams win the football game. That Titans defense broke in the second half is what I'm getting to here. Indianapolis will break it very early in the game, and this is really all the Colts needed. You needed a legitimate quarterback who can facilitate an offense, who can move an offense downfield, and get the football to your multi-million-dollar receiver in Michael Pittman. Pittman's production wasn't great last week. Oh, that's because he had Patrick Surtain on him for over 50% of the snaps last week. Jonathan Taylor, he's elite. He's elite. This is what happens when Jonathan Taylor's on a really good offense. Now it opens up all the rushing lanes for him. JT last week, 165 yards on the ground. Daniel Jones had 316 passing yards. How about Tyler Warren? The rookie out of Penn State, 80 receiving yards. There's a reason they picked him in the first round. He is that good. I've fully bought into the Colts now. I officially bought in. They are definitely 100% winning the AFC South this year. There will be playoff football in Indianapolis this season for the first time in years. And they're going to go to Tennessee and dominate the Titans. Guys, Indianapolis will not punt this week. I don't think they're going to. I look at the Titans. I think Cam Ward's good. I like what he's doing, but he's very, I don't want to say green. He's giving me Will Levis vibes. Just he does some crazy stuff, and it's a lot of stuff that if Will Levis did it, get him out of here. But in all fairness to Cam Ward, he pulls off all the crazy stuff. So I think Cameron Ward's a good quarterback. I think the talent around him is not great. When Tony Pollard's averaging 30 rushing yards a game, and Calvin Ridley's still dropping footballs, and Eomanor, who I'm telling you is a serious drop problem. He's a talented receiver. He's got a drop problem though, and you're going to see that as the season goes on. You can't be all that successful with that offense. I respect Ward. I like what he's doing, but this is Indy's game. This is Indianapolis' game. They're going to start 3-0, and they're going to walk into Nashville, and they're covering 3.5 points. I'd love it if it was 3, just so we get the push on 3 points, but 3.5 is fine too. I think Indianapolis wins this game by at least a touchdown. I think Daniel Jones again has another huge day. Titans defense looked good in the first 6 quarters of football they played this season. I think the first 4 quarters was a result of Bo Nix, and then the next 2 was just, they played well against the Rams. Those final 2 quarters last week, though, really showed okay. Tennessee's defense is not that good, all right, and Indianapolis, in my opinion, will break them this week. I'm going Colts minus 3.5. This is a pretty easy play for me. They are much better, in my opinion, than the Tennessee Titans. The Colts are a legitimate playoff team in 2025, okay? Let's call it how it is. That's what the Colts are. Indianapolis minus 3.5 on the road to Nashville. Next up, let's go to the battle of injured quarterbacks. Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Likely, you thought Spencer Rattler, Mac Jones was bad last week. We are most likely getting Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning here in week number 3. What did we do to deserve this matchup? That sucks. Guys, I'd hate being a Cincinnati Bengals fan if I waited an entire offseason to watch my team. You couldn't play defense last year, and now Joe Burrow's hurt in week 2 and out for 3 months. Brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. Might be out for the entire season. I'd hate it. They signed Sean Clifford, who Sean Clifford's a Penn State product, if I'm not mistaken. I'm very certain he is. Yes. They signed Sean Clifford to the practice squad. Oh, sorry, no. Sean Clifford's the second-string quarterback. Mike White now is on the practice squad. Okay, that's awesome. Starting quarterback now is Jake Browning. Awesome. Jake Browning out of the University of Washington, obviously. Yeah, Browning led the game-winning drive. I'll give him credit there. Led the game-winning drive, worked them downfield, beat the Jaguars. They cannot sustain a whole season of Jake Browning, though. I can tell you who they do need at quarterback. It's famous Jameis. It's Jameis Winston. It just makes sense. Why wouldn't you get Jameis Winston to chuck it up to Jamar Chase? I think everybody wants to see it. I want to see it, and make it happen. I'd pick up Jameis Winston right now in fantasy. Make that happen. Anyways, for now, it's still Jake Browning and Carson Wentz now for the Minnesota Vikings. So JJ's injury is nowhere near as bad as Carson Wentz's, but McCarthy is out 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. That's brutal, right? Your young rookie quarterback who did not have a good last week. I still believe in JJ. I still think he's going to be really good. I think just he had a poor week. It is what it is. Carson Wentz now steps in for Minnesota. They are at home, and the Vikings should win the football game. Do not get distracted and do not fall for the Jake Browning fourth quarter heroics, all right? If Jacksonville plays that game a little bit better, they're walking out of Cincinnati 2-0, and instead now the Bengals are 2-0. But Cincinnati now has to go on the road to Minnesota, and the Vikings are the all-around better football team. And the drop-off in playing quarterback, in my opinion, I think obviously it's more of a drop-off for Joe Burrow, but now when I'm talking about these two quarterbacks alone, who would I rather have, Carson Wentz or Jake Browning? Yes, did Browning look good in the fourth quarter? Oh, he did. I still would rather have Carson Wentz as my starting quarterback. A guy with a lot of experience, a guy who finished top 3 in the MVP voting one year. I know that was back in 2018, but still, I'd rather have Carson Wentz. Now, there is some discussion I've seen amongst Vikings Twitter. Why not give Max Brosmer, the rookie out of Minnesota from the University of New Hampshire, transferred obviously, a chance instead of Wentz? That's just not a move you can make. Desmond Ritter's also on the roster as well. That's definitely not a move you can make. So I'm not against Carson Wentz getting the start this week. Wentz is going to do enough for the Vikings. He's the first quarterback, I think, in NFL history to start for 6 different teams in 6 different seasons, which is crazy. I think it's 6 or is it 5? It's 5. No, it's 6. Vikings, Chiefs, Rams, Commanders, Colts, Eagles. That is crazy. That is insane. Wentz is going to do enough, though, and Wentz has the better offense, and honestly, Wentz throwing the ball at Justin Jefferson, I'm not against it. I know Browning's going to, obviously you get 2 of the best receivers, if not the 2 best receivers in football this week, in Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I like Wentz throwing to Justin Jefferson quite a bit. I do. Run game, we'll see. It's not great for the Vikings. The thing is, the Bengals have a horrible defense. Vikings last week, offense didn't play well. Look at the defense, though. Until the fourth quarter, the Falcons don't score a touchdown. Did it always feel like the Falcons were in control of that game? 100%. They were always up 6 points for the most part. But all that was field goals. The red zone defense from Minnesota, they buckled down until that fourth quarter and got stops. They'll be able to stop this Bengals offense. And at the same time, can the Bengals offense stop anybody? Trevor Lawrence, we'll get into him later. The Jags just didn't play well. If Minnesota plays a half-decent game, they will win at home and they will cover the 2.5 points. Would I bet it? Probably not. 2 backup quarterbacks, don't do it. But I believe Carson Wentz is going to be able to do enough this week to lead the Minnesota Vikings to victory. -2.5 for Wentz and the Vikings. Next up, let's go to Foxborough, Massachusetts for the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still think the Patriots are getting too much respect on the lines. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 1.5 point underdog, so 1.5 point favorite on the road. I'm taking them to beat the New England Patriots. Last week did not go well for us. Pittsburgh beating Seattle. They did not win, obviously. Thanks, Caleb Johnson. You're a great player in college. Didn't really kick return much in college because he was running the ball 30 times a game for the University of Iowa. Makes a horrible mistake, and it cost the Steelers the victory. Okay. They're on the road now. They're going to New England. The Steelers' defense still is nowhere near what it was last year, but ultimately they only gave up 24 points against Seattle. Sam Darnold had a good game, the best game he's had so far as a Seahawk. Obviously, he's only played 2. And the Steelers let Ken Walker run for 105 yards on them. That's brutal. They go on the road now to New England. Patriots coming off a victory against the Miami Dolphins. It's awesome. The Dolphins suck at football. Drake May played a good enough football game. Ramondre Stevenson, I guess, is still by far RB1 over Travion Henderson. Maybe Travion Henderson's 3 because Antonio Gibson's getting some run as well, along with Antonio Gibson's kickoff return for a touchdown. Anyways, New England goes into Miami. They win the game 33-27. A back and forth affair, right? Punt return touchdown for the Dolphins. Kick return touchdown with Antonio Gibson for the New England Patriots. Drake May played all right. I think May's good. Am I like fully convinced he's a franchise guy for New England? I think the Patriots are going to make him their franchise guy. I think they're going to pay him franchise guy money. Am I convinced that that's what he is, though? Not entirely. I think he's good. I still just need to see more. How about their kicker, man? Borges is his name? Borales? He was Miami's kicker last year. Boy, has he struggled so far. Did hit a big field goal, though, to pad onto their lead in the fourth quarter. Anyways, though, I think Pittsburgh wins the football game. Rodgers had a bad week 2, an uncharacteristically bad week 2. Threw a couple bad interceptions, threw a lot of balls into double coverage. Didn't love the game. DK Metcalf in the revenge game at 20 yards. After I forget who said it on NFL Network that DK Metcalf was going to break the receiving yards record this week. Really? Jalen Warren's really involved in the pass game. The running back. I just think, Pittsburgh took a step back. It definitely took a step back in week number 2. They looked great in week 1 on the road. We were getting all hyped about Pittsburgh, and maybe that was just the New York Jets suck. That could be part of it. I think they're going to be fine. It is what it is. It's one game. Going into New England for me, for Pittsburgh, is not going to be that difficult of a challenge. I'm still not sold on the Patriots' defense. I think if Tua played a much better game, I can't really put it on Tua, can I? If Miami could run the football and had anything for the running backs other than around or to the outside, they probably play a lot better. The Dolphins, to me, I have not more down on a team in the NFL right now probably than the Miami Dolphins. They're disappointing. They're a mess. They're a joke. They're the worst team in the division. No, the Jets, I don't know. They're both really bad. And yeah, the New England Patriots are the second best team in the AFC East. But that's not saying much. The AFC East is absolutely atrocious. I believe Pittsburgh goes on the road here and beats them. Aaron Rodgers will play a better week number 3. Run game, it's all right for Pittsburgh. And the defense, I'm still waiting on this Pittsburgh defense. That's the thing. I'm still waiting on the Pittsburgh defense just to have one of these games where they just beat up on a team. They punish a young quarterback, and that's exactly what Drake May is. I think Pittsburgh goes on the road and wins, and I still do believe quite a bit in Aaron Rodgers. Trust me here. I think Rodgers is going to be fine. I think he's going to have a pretty good game this week against New England on the road. Give me Pittsburgh Steelers money line, minus 120 on the road. And this is another thing too, right? Pittsburgh, they have to eventually play well. They have to. This is a team that every single season they win 9 games. So they're not going to fall that far under 500 just because that's what Mike Tomlin does. The defense eventually is going to come on, and I'm going to take Pittsburgh Steelers money line this week, minus 120 on the road in New England against the Patriots. Next up, we move on to a matchup in Philadelphia. Maybe the game of the week, honestly. Rematch of the divisional round of the postseason last year, a game that the Rams almost had it. Puka Nacua played his ass off last year in the snow in Philly. They do it again this week in Philadelphia. Good win for the Eagles. Win, I guess, filled with controversy. Now, I get it, the whole, everyone's in the neutral zone thing and the tush-push is unstoppable problem. I get that. Are we not going to not talk about the fact that this was really never talked about all this much until they played the Kansas City Chiefs? They play the Chiefs, and now the Chiefs are 0-2, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. I get it. Is it unethical football? Oh, it is, 100%. Because this is the thing. This is the thing with Philadelphia. And this is how they're play calling. It's working so far, but eventually against a better team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week, they're going to lose. And yes, they will go on the road next week and lose to Tampa. Trust me, Tampa's done it year in and year out. They own the Eagles. They've always been Philadelphia, dating back to 2002 in the NFC Championship game. That's not entirely true. I know there's a period in between 2002 and Tom Brady where they didn't beat the Eagles. But trust me, Tampa's got the formula to beat that team, and I'll get to that next week. Todd Bowles actually has the formula to beat that football team. But the way the Eagles are play calling now, it's unethical football, but it wins football games for now. And it will beat teams like the Chiefs and the Cowboys. What Philly is doing, you run the ball on first down. Depending on if you get 3 yards on first down, the Eagles are running it again. You get 3 more yards. Okay, it's third and 4. They'll run the football again with Saquon Barkley, or Jalen Hurts, or A.J. Dillon will come in the game and they'll run the football with him smashing up the middle. Okay, it's 4th and 2, 4th and 1, it's tush push. Or if you get a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, tush push, don't get it, go tush push again. Because you're not going to stop it twice. It's how the Eagles are play calling. A.J. Brown last week has 5 catches for 27 yards. Devontae Smith has 4 catches for 53 yards with that moon ball that Jalen Hurts threw. That was way behind him. That should have been a touchdown, but it is what it is. Chiefs sent pressure. Got to get the ball off. I'm not too upset with the throw. I get Twitters going at Jalen Hurts for that. It's a difficult throw. There's a guy in your face. You just got to get the ball out there and give your receiver a chance. And you rather underthrow a receiver now than overthrow him, especially coming back to the football. You can draw that pass interference call. Anyways, Philadelphia wins the game 20-17, and they are playing the most conservative football I've ever seen. It works. You're not going to get away from the team. You're probably never going to blow anybody out, but you're going to do enough because that's how much of an advantage they have with the tush push. There's no banning it this year. The owners lost that fight in the offseason. You should have banned it in the offseason if you wanted to get rid of it, but here we are. They're going to beat the Rams. Okay, here's the thing. Philly, they chew up so much of the clock. All their games going to be kind of low scoring because their defense is really good too. And you're going to wear out a defense doing so. You are. It's a smash mouth running game. And then, here comes Barkley. He's going to rip a 70-yard run on you. He hasn't done that yet this year, but he ripped a 15-yarder in a touchdown against Kansas City last week. And really, all Philadelphia needs to do, they need to find a way to get 7 yards in the first 2 downs. If they can get 7 yards, they're going to tush push twice and they'll get 3 yards in 2 plays. Or, you need to find a way to get 9 yards in 3 plays. And they're not going to take chances because why throw the ball in 1st and 10 if, our O-line's so good, we're going to run it, we're going to get 3 yards. And then, let's just run it again, we're going to get another 3. Cool. Here we have, 3rd and 4. Here comes another run. We get 2 yards, 4th and 2 tush push. They can do that in any part of the field because they're always going to get it. It is what it is. I don't think the Rams have the pieces to stop it. I like what Los Angeles is doing so far, but Sean McVay tore something also on the sidelines. I don't know how he did that, but I like what the Rams are doing, but they have beaten bad teams. And they beat the Texans unimpressively. Like, Tampa's victory against Houston is very impressive. On the road, game-winning drive. We'll get to that later. I think very soon, actually. For the next game, they are. The Rams' victory against Houston, you score 14 points. Last week against Tennessee, good win, but you struggled a lot in the first half. Stafford's playing well. Is a sustainable full year? I don't know. The injuries are always going to be a problem with Stafford. He's playing on his final leg, let's be honest. I mean, Stafford's got 1 or 2 years left. Probably his last year this year. Maybe he'll play one more. I don't know. Are the Rams the best team in the NFC West? They are. They are better than the Niners. They're better than the Cardinals. Sure, they're better than the Seahawks, too. Because 3 of them are 2-0 right now. I think they do win the division still. I don't like them to win this game against Philly because Philly beats a lot of teams right now. Legitimately, they beat everybody on their schedule except for potentially Tampa, Green Bay, Detroit, Washington, because that's going to be a tough game, in Los Angeles, the Chargers, because they got to go on the road for that. They play a lot of difficult games this year. They will beat up on a lot of teams this year until they get to their difficult games later in the year. They're a difficult team to beat. I'm going with them to beat the Rams, and I think they cover too. I know picking a spread for Philly's rough, and I probably wouldn't bet it either just because they don't get away from anybody. 3.5 points is not a lot, though. They can win the game by a touchdown or 4 points, and we win. I'm okay with that. So give me Philly to win the game at home at the bank. Next up, not the bank, that's baseball, at Lincoln Financial. Next up, let's go to Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium. It is the home opener this season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm seeing anywhere from this line being 7.5 to 6.5. If it's 6.5, absolutely take it. But Buccaneers versus Jets. Again, best bets later in the week. Buccaneers host the New York Football Jets. This will be probably a blowout. I don't know. Tampa does keep teams in games because of how bad their secondary is. However, are the Jets going to burn you downfield? No. Justin Fields played 3 quarters last week against the Bills. He went 3 for 11 passing. Tyrod Taylor comes and plays garbage time in the 4th quarter when Justin Fields got injured. He goes 7 for 11 passing. Yikes. The Jets are horrendous. So maybe, again, I need to take a step back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Probably what needs to happen. And now New York goes on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Justin Fields will not play. He's in concussion protocol, and he actually, I think it's confirmed, he had a concussion. He got a concussion in that Bills game. They're not letting him play on 7 days' notice. So Fields will be out for this week. It will be Tyrod Taylor as a starting quarterback this week for the New York Jets. Yikes. What Tyrod does, actually, I think Tyrod opens the pass game up a lot for the Jets. I think he does. Because Tyrod's not going to run. You're not really going to get that option. Am I telling you that Tyrod's a better quarterback than Justin Fields? No, he's not. I'd rather have Justin Fields as my quarterback. But what I'm telling you is he opens up the pass game, but it limits what New York can do as a whole. It does. I don't think Fields is a horrible passer. I think Tyrod's a little bit better, honestly, because that's all Tyrod does. Justin does everything. Here's the thing. Pass game's going to be opened up against the Buccaneers, which is cool. It's great. Tampa's secondary sucks, but they're not going to get burned by Tyrod Taylor. I know the Bucs have made a habit out of making bad quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks look really good. They've done this for years, trust me. I mean, hell, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name. Travis Siemian. Siemian? I think it was Siemian, right? Saints quarterback on close to Thanksgiving beat Tom Brady in the Bucs one year because backup quarterback went in there and torched the Bucs secondary. It's a classic Todd Bowles thing. And don't get me wrong. Bucs yesterday against the Houston Texans, they win. They win because of Baker Mayfield and how great that guy is. Baker's great. Their offense clutched up. When Houston scored at the end of the game with the Nick Chubb 25-yard touchdown, and they didn't get the 2-point conversion, I was actually fairly confident Tampa was going to win the game. Baker's done it so many times. He's inherited, honestly, the Tom Brady clutch gene in Tampa, and he took over the football game, drove them downfield. 4th and 10 scramble, no problem. That's what Baker Mayfield does. They win the football game. Baker kind of gets hurt, but then sees C.J. Gardner-Johnson talking shit, so he pops up to his feet and starts talking shit back. That's just what Baker Mayfield is. Love the guy. Great quarterback. Arguably top 5 in the league. Definitely top 10. So Tampa might get torched a little bit on Tyrod, but I just don't think so. And the run game for New York is going to be non-existent. You thought it was non-existent last week with Breece Hall going 10 carries for 29 yards. Yeah, just wait and see what happens against the best run D in the NFL. Nick Chubb, that one touchdown, the 25-yarder that Tampa let him score once he passed the first down marker, because you need to get the football back, had more yards on that one carry than he did the entire football game. C.J. Stroud, before the Nick Chubb touchdown, was the Texans' leading rusher. That's not because Houston sucks offensively. Well, their O-line sucks, but that's just the defense of Tampa Bay. Their secondary is still horrible, and it will always be horrible, unfortunately. But what Tampa does to stop the run and with pressure too, it's pretty unbeaten, honestly. Tampa's really good at that. And that's why they're going to beat Philly, because Philly's going to need to throw the ball on them, and that's going to be a problem for the Eagles. So I hope we give the Bucs at plus money next week. I'm not going to excuse the play calling, by the way, for Tampa. Tampa sometimes plays way too conservatively, like the Colts in all fairness, against the Broncos. I don't know why you're banking on a 60-yard field goal being made, but that's neither here or there. Tampa Bay, I think they need to throw the ball more. I say this all the time with them. I think Bucky's a great running back, but if you throw the ball more, now it's going to only create for more rushing lanes for Bucky Irving. And Rachaad White, for that matter, too. Baker needs to be throwing the ball 45-ish times a game. He's only throwing it about 35 times right now. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I know, again, Bucky ran for 17 carries for 71 yards. Rachaad White, 10 carries, 65 yards. But the success Tampa has in the pass game is pretty unmatched right now. I love the Buccaneers, man. I think this is a great football team this year. They're one of my favorites from the Super Bowl right now, legitimately. They are just that good again. They've always been good, obviously. They've been in the postseason every year since they signed Tom Brady. It's a culture change, and they've completely adapted to that culture. So I'm taking Tampa to win the football game and cover. It's a pretty easy cover, in my opinion, too. The Jets will not be able to hang, especially on a backup quarterback. Give me Tampa minus 6.5 or minus 7.5. I definitely prefer 6, though. Next up, let's go to Landover, Maryland. The Washington Commanders host the Las Vegas Raiders. Washington back at home against Vegas, who is on a short week, right? Raiders on a short week, and you have all that travel over to DC/Maryland on Sunday. Because the Raiders just didn't play any Sunday Night Football. They played the 7 o'clock late game on Monday night. And my goodness, did they look horrible. Geno Smith played a good week 1, and I think he fooled us all. Because week 2 was absolutely atrocious. Now, how much do I want to put into it? That's just how good the Chargers defense is. You can put that into account. Because the Chargers defense is really good. It's one of the best in football, right? You lose Khalil Mack probably for at least half a season at the very least. Maybe more, but the Chargers defense is very good, and I mean very good. Vegas now takes on the Washington Commanders, but the way Geno played, I mean, they couldn't complete a ball over 10 yards? Legitimately, they couldn't do that. Run game looked better than week 1, but in week 1, they just threw the ball a million times because they couldn't get Genty going with 19 carries for 38 yards against the Patriots. He was better against Los Angeles, but they couldn't throw the ball at all. Couldn't throw it quite a bit. They couldn't throw it a bit at all. You know, the pressure Los Angeles was getting was great, and that's the thing. Washington's probably going to pressure Geno Smith quite a bit this week, too. Washington coming off a loss, but They played on Thursday. They have had more than a week. They've had a week and a half to prepare for the Las Vegas Raiders coming into town, and the Raiders are absolutely abysmal. Their defense is not horrible, but you match that up against the Commanders' offense, who, by the way, can't really run the football. We're going to see the first start for Bill this week. Obviously, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt will get his first start with Austin Eckler out for the season, unfortunately. I'm sure we're going to see some McNichols this week, because I don't think Krosky-Merritt in his first start is going to see 100% of the workload. This game's going to be up to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, who went 24 for 42 passing on Thursday Night Football. You're going to need a bigger effort out of him. You're going to need Terry McLaurin to finally have a Terry McLaurin game this season after you pay him all that money. And I get it, he wasn't in camp and whatnot. Main thing for me, though, is can the Commanders' defense actually get stops? I think Washington's offense will score. I'm more concerned of, look how Jordan Love absolutely dominated this defense. Every third and long, someone would be open. It was usually Tucker Kraft. But that secondary for Washington, and it does start with Marshawn Lattimore, looked horrible. This is a good bounce-back game, though. It's a great bounce-back game against the Geno Smith-led Raiders, who I know have the potential, but a team that Washington should be able to beat up on. And Geno, if you just send some pressure on him, and I know you do leave a lot of your corners on the island, if you send pressure on Geno Smith, at least the Chargers showed, okay, he's, a 35-year-old Geno Smith's not going to make all those plays. And Washington needs to find a way to stop the pass, because next week they go to Atlanta against the Falcons, who are going to run the ball on you, but Michael Penix is going to try to zip it in there against everybody. An Atlanta offense that's not horrible. Are they overrated? Yes. But an Atlanta offense that is capable, I will say. I'm going with Washington, though, to beat the Raiders. I cannot, in good conscience, pick the Las Vegas Raiders after that Monday Night Football game. I can't. There's no reason to, Gentry's looking all right. Bowers obviously playing through an injury. Defense is okay, but I think the Commanders are going to see a lot of success against them, and I look at Geno Smith, and that's the main reason that, they're going to be held back. I was skeptical of the move before the season. Last week, I was like, look good against the Patriots. He was firing it. I'm going to hold off on it. This was my thing about Geno. He doesn't fit their timeline. If it was a one-year deal, okay, he fits. But now, again, when is Brock Bowers and when is Ashton Jeanty? When are they going to get their quarterback for the new era of Raiders football if Geno's here for 3 more years or 2 more years after this? I would think this would be, if in a perfect world, take Geno this year, and then you go rookie next year. Maybe he's on a Kirk Cousins type deal, right? Geno starts this year. Next year, he's the starter to start the season with, I don't even know who a rookie quarterback would be, with a Carson Beck there, with a Garrett Newsomer there, with a Devin Dampier, who's probably going to stay in college another year, a Drew Aller, Arch Manning. Again, it's just the college class quarterback right now is not that great. Fernando Mendoza, potentially, right? And then you let that guy sit a whole year and then, okay, or sit half a season and, then you can bench Geno. I just don't love the timeline for the Raiders right now. Especially in the Geno Smith timeline. I don't like this game either. I think Washington dominates it, and I think the Commanders cover 4 points as well. So, give me Washington at home in Landover to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Next up, we go to the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. I could care less about this football game. I could. I don't care. But I'm going to be going Panthers spread. Would I bet it? No. No, I wouldn't. I would bet pretty much every single game where I don't say I wouldn't bet it. Panthers at home against the Falcons. This is a throw-up for me. It is. I think Carolina wins, or I think Carolina covers. Am I confident in it? No. We had Carolina last week to cover against the Cardinals, and I spoke a lot of bad things about the Panthers over the week. They still covered, though, right? I spoke, I was like, Bryce Young's not great, but I think they're going to do enough to cover, and they did. Right? They go to Arizona, and it took some heroics. Do not get me wrong. It took a lot of heroics for them to cover that football game. They do. And they had a position to potentially win the football game. They didn't. However, you look at this game with the Falcons and the Panthers. I think the Panthers cover home game, division game. Is Bryce Young still playing pretty badly? He is. Bryce Young's not playing great football. Can I say that, though? He was extremely inefficient in the first half. Second half, he was efficient, but here's my thing with this. You look at the final stat line, threw for 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. A lot of his play in that second half until that, last 2 drives is garbage time play. Because the Panthers are already down by so much. They were down 20-3 at halftime. They were down 27-3 at one point. So I don't know how much to put into that Bryce Young performance. Because when they score the Hunter Renfrow touchdown to make it a 27-9 game, the game feels like it's already over. And they score the other touchdown to Chuba Hubbard, you're down 27-15. So all of his touchdowns came in garbage time, and obviously the second Hunter Renfrow touchdown to close the game. And then the last drive where, they lose. I don't know how much to put into this. I really don't. I'm going to believe he's going to be able to do enough. I don't think he's playing great football, and this is my thing. My standard with Bryce Young, I think, is higher than it should be, because my standard on Bryce Young is, you're a former number 1 overall pick. You were the guy at Alabama, and last year you did play really well to close the season, or in the middle of the year, when, Dalton got injured. Dalton got in a car crash, actually, which made Bryce Young the starter again. Dalton comes back healthy, but he's the backup again. So I do hold Bryce Young to a high standard, so I'm saying Bryce Young's not playing well for a top pick. I think he's going to be able to do enough against the Falcons this week. Atlanta goes to Carolina. Falcons defense looked good against J.J. McCarthy, but now you go on the road, different environment. Well, you go on the road to a divisional opponent, is what I need to say. And the Falcons offense, to me, is still, it's good. It's not great. Michael Penix, 13 for 21 throwing the football. Bijan had a game, and Tyler Algier had a game. Pass game does, I still believe they want to be a pass-heavy team, just because that's every system Michael Penix has ever played in Indiana, in Washington. That's all he's known. But I do think the Panthers are able to limit the run game quite a bit. I would hope. Guys, James Conner last week for the Cardinals ran the ball 11 times for 34 yards. Now, obviously, is Bijan Robinson James Conner? No. Bijan's way better, obviously. But I do think that Carolina is going to have some success limiting Bijan and Tyler Algier for that matter. And I think that should, force Atlanta to throw the football. Carolina's secondary is not the best, but if they're able to pressure Michael Penix like they were able to do against Kyler Murray, the Panthers should see more success. Because what Kyler did, obviously, and which is what Kyler Murray does, that's what makes him a good quarterback. He gets pressured. Okay, well, he's just faster than everybody else. He's going to run around the pocket. And he's going to find ways to get out of plays, right? To get out of sacks and to get out of lost yards. Michael Penix is not the most mobile quarterback at all. He's not. He's had multiple knee injuries, multiple knee surgeries. He is nothing but a pocket passer, right? Watch Michael Penix Indiana tape. He is mobile. But after he suffered another ACL or another knee injury over there in Bloomington, comes to Washington, nothing but a pocket passer, and that's fine. Penix is not going to run the football. It's not what he does. If you pressure Michael Penix, he's not going to get out the way of sacks, and that's what Minnesota did. Minnesota set a lot of pressure on Michael Penix. And do they lose the game 22-6? They do, but they got to Penix 3 times. They sacked him 3 times. And forced a lot of pressures on him to the point where Atlanta was like, all right, we're just going to start running the football all the time because this is our best pathway to success. Because if we throw the ball, potential sacks, Drake London fumbles, you get what I mean here. I'm taking Carolina to cover at home. Not my favorite game of the week. Division matchup. Panthers should be able to keep it close. Give me Carolina at home plus 4.5. I'm seeing 6.5 now. So if it's 6.5, even better. Line's gone up. We'll take that. That's a great line for us. Our final game of the 10 o'clock window, we go to Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, as the Jacksonville Jaguars will host the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Jaguars to win. Don't think the Texans are good. Don't think they are. They've lost 2 close games, yes. Bucs let them in that game. Bucs were always controlling that game. And if it's not for a blocked punt where I don't know why, Tampa's taking forever to punt the football, Houston's out of that game. They don't drive down the field and score, like they were given the layup of the short field with the Nick Chubb touchdown. Derek Stingley's great. The rest of the secondary is mid. Baker Mayfield wins that game for Tampa, obviously, right? I mean, a lot of, just Baker scrambling and finding ways to get it done, sure. Houston's not a very good team in 2025. And I said this at the beginning of the season. Their offensive line sucks, and that's why we see such a regression in the play of C.J. Stroud. When you can't block for the guy and there's always pressure in his face, you're in trouble. Am I telling you Jacksonville's got the best pressure up front? They don't, but it should be enough to get to at least C.J. Stroud. Texans can't run the football. Will that improve with Joe Mixon? Probably, but they don't run the ball well at all. And obviously that did not help last week. They're playing Tampa, but they're not a good run team. They don't throw the ball that well. Defensively, they're not bad. I'll give them credit for that. So I think we see a defensive showdown here. In a defensive battle, I'm going to take the team at home in Jacksonville. Also, the Jaguars have to figure it out, right? I think. Now, a lot of chaos going on in Jacksonville right now, I would say, right? Liam Cohen says something to Trevor Lawrence in that Cincinnati game. Lawrence looks at him, I guess because Lawrence made a bad throw, and Liam Cohen says, put it on his chest. And Lawrence looks at him and goes, get out of my face. Now, a lot of people are going at Lawrence for this attitude problem. With all due respect, if you're a quarterback, you know you made a bad throw. You don't need a coach telling you hit him in his chest. Obviously, Lawrence, I think it was Brian Thomas who was playing a horrible game. Lawrence, I think, throws it behind him or whatnot. He throws it low. duh. Like, all right, like again, I'm not telling you Lawrence should have done that, but if you're a player and if you're making hundreds of millions of dollars too, right? And you hear a coach tell you, put it in his chest when you know you made a bad throw and you're beating yourself up about it, you don't need a coach yelling at you and telling you, oh, you made a bad throw as well. That's all I'm saying. I'm not completely defending Lawrence for that, but I'm not gonna go into, oh, Lawrence is an attitude problem. I don't think he is at all. Okay. Brian Thomas was the reason they lost the game, though, not Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas has been playing horrible football. Multiple drops last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. It was bad. Guys, he gets 12 targets, 4 catches, 8 of those. He should have had 8 catches. So 4 of those other targets should have been catches. 3, 4. Brian Thomas played a horrible football game, and I don't know what happened. To the point where I'm thinking there's a potential. He's injured. He's questionable. I believe he's going to play. Wrist injury. He'll be fine. To the point where I believe there's a chance Travis Hunter is going to start getting receiver 1 targets. It's just a matter of trust, you know? I think Trevor Lawrence might say, okay, I'm going to start throwing to Travis Hunter more. And I think there's going to be a lot more sets open for a lot of plays designed now for Hunter. Can't trust in Brian Thomas. We're going to have to trust in the guy that you used the number 2 pick on, obviously. And yeah, Hunter's playing some, third down snaps. He's playing some defense. Played that last drive, and there was a penalty on him in the last drive against Cincinnati. Was it a penalty? I don't think it was. I don't think that should have been a pass interference on Trav. However, they called it on him, and it is what it is. I don't know if anyone's called Travis Hunter Trav. But Hunter, I think, needs to be a bigger weapon on offense for them. And that's a matter of, okay, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to start to get the ball to him more. Etienne's played well in 2025. He has. Etienne's played decently. Obviously, officially taken over as running back 1 with the Bigsby trade, which I was surprised about, honestly. I think the Jaguars win. I think they do. I don't think we're going to see a lot of points. I still am a Trevor Lawrence believer. Am I as big of a believer as what we got in college when he was coming out of Clemson and he was supposed to be the second coming of Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Dan Marino? No. More Dan Marino. Am I as high? No, I'm not. But I do think he plays a good football game this week. Good enough football game. And my thing comes down to, I don't think the Texans are able to score all that much. And if you're not able to score, can't win. Games in Jacksonville, too, and I like the Jags in the spot. Shad Khan's probably going to get them pumped up, in the locker room. This is going to go on forever. I like Shad Khan. I'm a big fan of the Khan family. Shout out to All Elite Wrestling. But, yeah. I think the Jags win this football game. Houston's not a good offense. Is Jacksonville a good offense right now? No, but they have the potential to be really good. And I said this at the beginning of the season, right? Like, you have to make this one work. Your defense isn't great, but you have Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, who I don't know now, Etienne, and Travis Hunter. I assume something's got to go well for them now, right? Houston's defense can be beat. Ultimately, all right, you put Stingley takes away Brian Thomas. That's fine. That should open up a huge game for Travis Hunter. I expect a monster game at Hunter this week, at least offensively. And I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the game at home against the Houston Texans. They're going to win it. We get minus 120-ish odds for this one, and I do like Jacksonville. I'm still a Trevor Lawrence believer, and I am so low on the Houston Texans. It is crazy. You can't run the ball. You can't throw the ball. You can't protect C.J. Stroud. What can you do? Exactly. On to the next, and on to the 1 o'clock window. We kick things off in Seattle, Washington, for the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints. At Lumen Field, I'm going with the Seahawks to cover. Initially, I thought, 7 points is too much. Don't love this. But then I thought to myself, okay, wait. The Saints have played well at home, but that's the thing. They've played well at home. They haven't gone away from the Superdome yet. Playing in the Superdome is actually kind of difficult. Now you got to go take your ass cross-country to the very top of America, the Pacific Northwest of Seattle, Washington. Obviously, you go down from the bayou down south all the way up to the Pacific Northwest. That's difficult. You're not playing in a dome anymore. You're playing in the conditions, and I don't know if it's going to be raining or not this weekend in Seattle. Hell, it's always raining in Seattle, but don't know if especially it's going to be raining this weekend. This is a difficult game for the Saints. It is. They played well in the first 2 weeks of the season, right? They had a drive to potentially win the game last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Alvin Kamara played a really good game, but that's the thing with Alvin Kamara. He's playing a good game right now, but eventually that's going to end probably. It's a matter of time before Kamara kind of slows down, unfortunately, just because of the injury past. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I thought they give every team a primetime game. The Saints do not have a primetime game in 2025. It's crazy. I think, them and the Browns didn't get one this year, right? Kamara played well. Again, I just don't know how long it's going to continue. Saints are always trying to get Chris Olave killed out there. Rattler's playing well enough, though. Rattler had 210 yards with 3 touchdowns, but Mac Jones just did too much for the 49ers. So shout out to the Mac attack. New Orleans going on the road to Seattle is going to be difficult for them just because, the offense, I think, has figured it out for the Seahawks now. You got Kenneth Walker fully involved as week 1, we're like, is Zach Charbonnet RB1? Because he played much better and he got more carries than Kenneth Walker. And he did again in week 2, but I do believe Kenneth Walker's their guy. Guys, Charbonnet went 5 carries for 10 yards. Ken Walker went 13 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown. I think we know who RB1 is in Seattle. I think. Sam Darnold played well. Will he play well again? I don't know. He threw 2 picks, and that's just what Darnold's going to do. Again, I was a little skeptical on him being a franchise guy, but that's what the Seahawks have designated him to be. Gets the ball JSN, though. And Cooper Kupp had a big game, too, as well for them, right? Cooper Kupp, 7 catches for 90 yards. He's not prime Cooper Kupp. He's never going to be Rams Cooper Kupp again, but he played a good week 2 against Pittsburgh. They should dominate the Saints. Saints aren't that good. We said at the beginning of the year this is the worst team in football. I don't know if they are that, because the Miami Dolphins exist, but no, if you played the Dolphins and the Saints, the Dolphins would win that football game. The Saints haven't looked hopeless, though. The Bears might be the worst team in the NFL. Legitimately, the Bears might be the worst team, which is crazy. Saints, though, on the road, don't love it. Rattler, I think he's a capable quarterback. Is he a franchise guy? No. New Orleans is definitely, dipping back into the draft this season. As long as Arch can kind of figure it out, we're going to have an Archie/Arch Manning back in New Orleans. That'll be something. But I just, how many games is Alvin Kamara going to continue to go off in? And that offense, to me, yeah, again, right now it's working. Olave, Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Juwan Johnson. That's going to stop eventually. I think Seattle wins the game, and I just don't think New Orleans is able to keep up. Again, we have to talk about it, too. This is such a difficult travel assignment for the Saints. You're all the way down in Louisiana in the swamp, all the way up to Seattle. You haven't been on the road yet this year, and it's not like you're going to get perfect conditions. It's not like you're going to Miami, it's just hot. It's not like you're going to Dallas or Houston where there's a roof, or it's not like you're going to San Francisco, or Santa Clara. It's an easy road environment. No, you got to go to Seattle, where it's probably going to be raining. I don't love it for a dome team. Give me the Seahawks to win and cover the 7 points as well. When you think about it, yeah, it does make sense just because they haven't been on the road yet this year, have New Orleans. So, by the way, starting the year on 3 straight NFC West games is kind of crazy. On to the next. We go to our other game starting at 1:05 at SoFi Stadium. The Los Angeles Chargers host the Denver Broncos. Just how good are the Chargers? And just how good is Justin Herbert? I know Herbert didn't play his best game last week, but he played well enough. Herbert scrambles when he needs to, makes the throws when he needs to. Chargers win the game 20-9 on the road in Vegas on Monday night. They cover the 3 points as well. Shout out to the Chargers. Defense is spectacular, though, for Los Angeles. And sure, the Khalil Mack injury is going to hurt them for a little bit. I don't entirely know when Khalil Mack's supposed to be back, but that one does suck, and it sucks a lot. But the protection that Justin Herbert has in the pocket is insane. And that's why you go out and draft a Joe Alt. I mean, he has got all day to throw the football. It is a loaded line. Mekhi Becton's playing better now in Los Angeles. I was a little dubious about their receiving core of Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen. It's worked so far, hasn't it? Run game concerns me a little bit, though. Marion Hampton did not have a good week 2. Fumbles, when the game was basically over. Najee Harris probably played a better game, and I think Najee's going to get first-team reps going forward, at least for a little while, because the Chargers are in win-now mode. And what can I say about Justin Herbert? He's playing like an elite quarterback. If man has finally seen that potential, right? You get Harbaugh here. You put a solid offensive line around him. The run game needs to be developed a little bit more. But what Harbaugh does, you get a good defense and you get a good offensive line. The rest of the offense will figure itself out. And that's what they've done so far this season. You face a good team in the Denver Broncos, a team that I still believe is going to be really good. I still believe they're making the postseason. Okay, that was the beginning of the season prop bet I made, right? Broncos to get to the playoffs. They will get in the playoffs, even though they could very easily start the year 2-3. Look at the rest of the schedule from there on out, though. It's very easy. This week, I think they lose the Chargers. Bo Nix did not play that well last week, and it's because he didn't throw to anybody but Troy Franklin. And am I mad because I have Courtland Sutton in fantasy? A little bit. But how does Courtland Sutton get the ball once? 1 catch for 6 yards and 4 targets. What are we doing? Troy Franklin had 9 targets for 89 yards and 8 catches for a touchdown. Marvin Mims got the ball a couple times. Denver ran the ball quite well, though. J.K. Dobbins ran it pretty well. The thing about Denver, though, they did get into the end zone. Indianapolis just always had an answer. I don't think the Broncos played all that horribly, truth be told. It's just, they scored, they missed a field goal. McManus missed a field goal. They go up 28-20, and they don't score again for the rest of the game. Indianapolis goes 3 unanswered field goals to ultimately win it at Lucas Oil. Bo Nix played much better, though, right? After some concerns about his performance in week number 1 against the Tennessee Titans, and maybe I do need to put more respect on that Tennessee defense, but I think Indiana Jones is just going to figure them out this week. Bo Nix played a good week, too, against Indianapolis. Threw a bad pick to Cam Bynum, who I hope gets an interception every single game just so he can keep on, pulling, tricks out the hat in terms of celebrations. I'm glad. I thought he was going to get a penalty for the blue celebration, where the humping I guess it's a humping celebration. I don't know. It's just what blue does, the Colts mascot. It was hilarious. I'm not going to lie. And I'm glad Bynum's had, 2 straight games with 2 straight interceptions. I hope he gets another one this week. But that was really the only bad mistake Nix made the entire game. He just overthrew. Was it Sutton? Overthrows the guy. It might have been Troy Franklin or Mims. Whatever. He overthrew his receiver, and Cam Bynum's right there to make the play. Broncos' run D got obliterated last week. Not really too concerned about that, but their defense just kind of got obliterated as a whole. I don't know. Surtain got injured in that game, and he came back and wasn't 100% in my opinion. I'm not as high on the Broncos' defense now, though. And maybe that's just the Colts' offense is really good, and it is. I think the Chargers, though, are going to see a lot of success against Denver as well, though. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a pretty good game. I think he will. The receiving core, again, for the Chargers will not blow you away. Oh, it's Lad McConkey. It's Quinton Johnston. It's Keenan Allen at 30-something years of age. That's fair. Their defense, though, is going to hold a lot of offenses, and that's what should happen here. They should be able to hold Denver to very minimal points, and the offense will just pick it up from there, too, because Justin Herbert is really good. Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback in the NFL. I firmly believe that. I think the Chargers win. The Chargers win. They're at home, too. And, by the way, how bad of a loss is that for the Broncos? Because you won the game. Spencer Schrader misses the field goal. You're celebrating like you win it. Flag on the play. Oh, you leveraged the center, the long snapper, which is a call you usually don't call to close the game. But refs did it. It's the right call. It's just they don't always call it, though, is the problem. So there's no consistency with the call. It was the right call at the time, though. You can go back, and yes, there is, you can look at the film from an earlier field goal in the game when McManus is kicking, and yeah, the Colts are leveraging as well. Every team kind of does it to a certain extent. It is what it is. It's a horrible loss for the Broncos because you thought you were going to get out of Indianapolis 2-0, and now you're 1-1 going into a divisional game against an undefeated football team. Regardless, I like the Chargers to win. I'm so in right now on Los Angeles. They will win the AFC West, and we'll see what they can do in the playoffs as well. Give me the Chargers. They will get a home playoff game this year. Next up, we go to the 125 window, kicking things off with America's Game of the Week. Apparently it's America's Game of the Week. I guess. The Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. So, Tom Brady is going to be on commentary for this game, which is fine. I don't know why we're, pumping up this game. It is what it is. It's fine. Because you have a 1-1 Cowboys team taking on a winless Bears team. Guys, I don't know if I've ever been more confident, but I'm very confident that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this football game. I'm extremely confident. Guys, the Bears suck. I say it every week. They are horrible. They are a dog crap football team. They can't score, and now their defense is giving up points. After that midway through the third quarter, at Soldier Field on Monday Night Football against J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, their defense went up in dust. It disappeared. And then last week, you give up 52 points to the Detroit Lions, and then Ben Johnson's offense can only score 21 points against his former team. Oh my goodness, you coached those guys last year. You bet in the system, and you scored 21 points. Guys, there's a clip of Caleb Williams throwing a ball into quadruple coverage. I think there might have been 5 guys downfield, and he zips it in there to Rome Odunze, and Odunze comes down with the football. And the commentator's like, whoa, what a ball by Caleb Williams. That ball should have been intercepted. Caleb Williams makes too many bad mistakes. To the point where now you got media talk heads saying, oh, they should sit down Caleb Williams for a couple weeks and give Tyson Bagent the starting job. It's not what you do. They shouldn't do that at all. Caleb is by far the best quarterback they have there, and I do think Caleb's still a talent, but the Bears are horrible. They run game doesn't look bad, but it's not going to be something that's going to put you over the top. And Caleb doesn't have an O-line still. He doesn't. He has no O-line. The Bears, you draft Colston Loveland, who's had zero production over the first 2 weeks of the season. You've seen, by the way, Colston Loveland was the third best tight end in the draft. One was Harold Fannin. Maybe one was Tyler Warren, but they're 1 and 2 for me. And then you draft Loveland before both of them? What are we doing? I mean, you could have drafted some offensive line help. You drafted an O-lineman out of BC, I believe, in the second round, but what are we doing there? So you have no protection for Caleb Williams. The offense looks like crap, and now your defense can't get stops. The Cowboys put up 1 million points on the Giants last week. Is their defense good? No. Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards last week. Okay. Can Caleb Williams do that? I don't think so. I think you're going to see a lot of points. Cowboys are winning this football game, though. And oh, by the way, you have the greatest kicker of all time on the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, I'm going to say it. Justin Tucker, yeah, move aside. Brandon Aubrey is the greatest kicker I've ever watched. And he's the greatest kicker of all time. When you feel so confident in a kicker that you can kick a 64-yarder to tie the game and send it to overtime and you don't try to get any more yards, yeah, you have the greatest kicker ever on your team. 64-yarder to send the game in overtime, 4 for 4, 5 for 5 on kicks. I think it was 5 for 5. 4 for 4 on field goals. And Brandon Aubrey casually hits the second longest field goal of all time, now only just behind Justin Tucker, to send the game in overtime. And the Cowboys are looking at like, oh, okay, no brainer, right? We get the ball. Someone said, I forget who on the Cowboys, we get the ball over the 50-yard line, and we're fine. We're gonna get points. Which the new NFL rules, a touchback's at the 35-yard line. You get 15 yards now. Oh, we're in field goal range. We get 1 first down. It's essentially, guys, the Cowboys, even if they start on their own 30, you get 2 first downs, you're in scoring position. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Now, the rest of the team's not very good. Offense looking pretty solid. Defense is horrible, and that's why the Cowboys aren't going to the playoffs this year. And they should have lost last week to the Giants. But Brandon Aubrey is the reason they win. And I'm serious. Brandon Aubrey will get MVP votes this year. He won't win it, obviously. But Brandon Aubrey should be considered for the most valuable player if the Cowboys are in the playoffs, which is a big if. But if the Cowboys make the playoffs this season, yeah, Brandon Aubrey should get MVP votes. He won't win it, but that should be a thing. The Cowboys will walk into Chicago and beat up on the Bears. I don't care. Because the Bears, you have to be ready for a shootout against Dallas. Because that's what Dallas is going to do. Dak is just going to rip it the entire game. He's going to throw the ball 50-plus times. Javonte Williams is having a decent year so far running back for the Cowboys. But CeeDee's going to get involved. Ferguson's going to get involved. Pickens is going to get involved. They have a decent offense. No, they have a good offense. The defense is not good, though. And that's the thing. Caleb should be able to see success. But there's no spread on this game. It's even odds. I'm taking money line for the Cowboys. The Bears are eventually going to slow down. The Bears are eventually not going to be able to score. And here's my thing again. Every single drive, there is scoring potential for the Cowboys because they have the greatest kicker to ever walk the face of the earth. You get the ball to the 50-yard line. You are in field goal range. And I know it's an outdoors game now. Depending on the wind, though, yeah, you get the ball to midfield. It is very kickable for Brandon Aubrey. You get the ball. It's going to come soon. Again, the way that the new balls are, too, they're very hittable, very kickable. You get the ball to your own 45-yard line. There's a chance you might be able to hit it. That's a very long field goal, but that's a 72-yarder. Brandon Aubrey can hit 72-yarders. Seen in the preseason, Cam Little did a 71-yarder in the preseason, but we've seen it before in warm-ups and preseason. Yeah, Brandon Aubrey can hit that. How are the Bears going to keep up this week? Their defense sucks, and their offense is horrible. It's the worst in the league. So, yeah, this is easy Cowboys for me. Don't care the games in Chicago. We're all over the Cowboys this week in Chicago. Next up, we go to our final game before the night games. We've got the Arizona Cardinals going on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not falling into the Cardinals trap. I thought about it, and I thought hard about it. No, I don't care. I'm taking the 49ers, okay? Am I the highest in the 49ers? I'm not. I don't think they win the division still. They will beat the Arizona Cardinals here, guys. There are too many cracks in the armor for the Arizona Cardinals. I want to believe in Arizona. I want the Cardinals to be good. Hell, I think the Cardinals in a short week are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks, actually. I think the Cardinals are going to start the season 4-1. Because, guys, if the Cardinals win this week against the 49ers, they're going to start the season 5-0 with this roster. They're going to be 5-0 because they do have the easiest start to a season ever. And then, it comes down on them to close the year. I still think they're starting 4-1. They're going to lose this week. Seattle, Thursday night, they will win. And they will beat the Titans the week after in Arizona. And then you go to Indy, Green Bay, to Dallas, to Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville. There's some losses in there. But they will start the year 4-1 in my opinion. Obviously, the entire NFC West has an easy-ish schedule, right? You play the AFC South, which is one of the easier divisions over there. And you play one team in the AFC North, which is difficult, but still. And then you play the NFC South, right? Which, other than the Bucs, is a very easy division, in my opinion. You get the Saints, you get the Panthers, Falcons, we'll see, right? So that's why the Cardinals and Niners have the easiest divisions or easiest schedules in football. Arizona, though, I don't think is winning in San Francisco. I know the Niners are injured, and that's the thing. They will not remain a good football team for the rest of the season because they will continue to be hurt. Mac Jones played well. It's the guy Kyle Shanahan wanted. He didn't want Trey Lance. He wanted Mac Jones. Well, Mac Jones played well. He's the backup now here in San Francisco. 26 for 39 passing, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns for Mac. Shout out to Mac Jones, man. I like Mac Jones. Is he a career backup now? Yes, he is. And obviously, he was put in a difficult situation when he came into New England because he was the Tom Brady replacement. Sure, there was a year of Jared Stidham / Cam Newton wedged in between, but Mac Jones was the next franchise guy. Took the Patriots to the playoffs one year, and then nothing really resulted after. Made a Pro Bowl once. He is in the most quarterback-friendly system ever. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's a system guy, but, like, you should be able to succeed in San Francisco. Your weapons are Christian McCaffrey. George Kittle's hurt, but still. McCaffrey. Ricky Pearsall, first-round pick. Juwan Jennings. And, oh, by the way, Mac Jones is a very familiar receiver to him, and Kendrick Bourne, who he played with in New England. And obviously, Brandon Ayuk's not back in the swing of things yet. San Francisco's playing well right now. And their defense, that defense is loaded. It's always been loaded, right? You lose some pieces in the offseason. Sure, Greenlaw, you lose Hufanga, but Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, it's a good defense. It's a really good defense. And yeah, they played the Saints, but they played the Arizona Cardinals. If I'm not mistaken, did Arizona walk into San Francisco last year and win? No, San Francisco won that game, right? No, Arizona did win the game on the road. Okay. It was a game where Kyler had a big rushing touchdown, a 50-yard rushing touchdown to kick off the game, if I remember correctly, and they found a way to win that one. They did. Okay, Chad Ryland hit a game-winning field goal. Yeah, it's not going to happen again. It's not. Guys, when Christian McCaffrey plays, and that's a big if this season, right, if McCaffrey can stay healthy, but when McCaffrey plays, the Cardinals win football games. That's all they do when Christian McCaffrey plays, because that's just the difference that he makes for this team. Mac Jones has always a check-down option. I think we forget at times just how good McCaffrey is. He's a good receiver downfield. He's a great running back, and he's just the all-around, he's an all-around complete player. You always want to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and that's, again, the check down and the backup plan, essentially, or just the last resort Mac Jones has. It's the dream for a backup quarterback. Arizona this year, yeah, they're 2-0, but they beat the New Orleans Saints, okay, and the Carolina Panthers, 2 low-level teams, and they almost choked the Panthers game. I don't think Kyler's playing poorly, but he's not even getting the ball to Marvin Harrison. It's a lot of Trey McBride, it's a lot of Michael Wilson, which is okay, but start feeding your I don't know if he's generational, your great talent at receiver. James Conner is getting the ball quite a bit, but I don't know. I think Arizona, I think they will start the year 4-1. I think after that it will start to fall apart for them, but I'm going to be going with the San Francisco 49ers this week. Don't get thrown off by, San Francisco's got backups, they got Mac Jones. Jones is going to play well. He's going to continue to play well. And don't get thrown off by, Arizona's undefeated so far. They've played 2 poor teams. And yeah, going on the road and winning in New Orleans is big time, but Panthers game, they almost choked. Shout out to Calais Campbell, future Hall of Famer. Big sack, 40 years of age. Get a sack to close the game against Bryce Young and the Panthers. That's tremendous. But I'm going with San Francisco to win the game at home at Levi's in Santa Clara. Next up, we move on to Sunday Night Football. Why is this here? They should have flexed this out. I know it's only week 3. You couldn't put... Actually, no. No one wants to watch the Eagles in prime time right now. You couldn't have put Broncos Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Would have loved to watch that on prime time. Couldn't have put... Hell, I would sign up for Colts Titans right now. I would. I'd sign up for Bucks Jets. But yet, Chiefs Giants. Okay, lines moved to 6.5, even better. What I'm telling you guys this is the perfect opportunity to snag plus money on the New York Giants. I don't know, or I guess value in points on the New York Giants. I got really close to taking the money line for the Giants. I'm not going to do it. I got really close. I might, probably not. Okay. I love the plus money for the Giants here. The Chiefs can't get away from anybody right now. They're not playing like a good football team. I know. Oh, they played the Chargers and Eagles, two undefeated teams. They did. Guys, I'm telling you exactly what this game's going to look like. 2 years ago, I think it was week 3 or week 4. I think it was week 3, actually. In 2023, I need to check. It was week 4. New York, the Chiefs at the beginning of the season walk into New York, walk into East Rutherford, New Jersey. Sunday Night Football. Supposed to be Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Instead, it's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson plays the best game of his career, and yes, Zach Wilson should still be starting for the Miami Dolphins. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, that's my guy. And my multiple Zach Wilson jerseys are hanging up over there. You can't see them. Anyways, it's not just because I'm a Zach Wilson homer at all. But Chiefs go and play the Jets Sunday Night Football early in the season, and the Jets should have won that football game. The penalty discrepancy was crazy in that game. The referees bailed the Chiefs out. Zach Wilson throws for 300-something yards or close to that, multiple touchdowns, ends up fumbling at the end of the game, but it's a bad snap. It is what it is. Jets were 14 or 7 or 8, 10.5 point underdogs. They lose the game by 3 points. I'm telling you, this is what the Chiefs and Giants is going to be tonight. Not because, here comes Jackson Dart to make his first career start or, to come off the bench. No, this is just because, the Giants should be playing well enough here. Especially after last week. Chiefs defense is good, sure. How about Russell Wilson, though? Right? I thought, going into the week last week, I said, if the Giants lose, Russell Wilson is no longer a starter in the league. Russell Wilson will get sat down for Jackson Dart going forward. They lost, but you can't sit down Russell Wilson after last week. Now, that interception in overtime, was it bad? Oh, it was. But 450 yards for us, you cannot sit the guy down after that. You still have a very tough schedule coming up, my goodness. Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners, Bears, Packers, Lions. Oh my goodness, this schedule's brutal. Holy crap, this for a last place team? What are the last place teams they play? Oh, Niners. Oh my goodness. Last place teams they play are Niners and Bears? No, Niners and... Who's the other last place team they play? Oh, no, it is Lions, Niners, and Bears. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is bad. Oh, Saints, the other last place team they play. They're gonna keep this close though with the Chiefs. Russell Wilson's gonna keep that offense going. He is. I think the pass game's gonna be huge. The Chiefs, they were playing all run last week. Now you got a completely different system, completely different offense. The Chiefs are not playing good football. Patrick Mahomes is not playing good football. He's playing okay football. He's not playing great. 180 yards last week at Mahomes. He does the most damage with his legs. Now, sure, should they have scored a touchdown to take the lead eventually, to take the lead in the fourth quarter? They should have. That ball goes right through Kelsey's hands, and I don't know why Kelsey's complaining. Dude, you dropped the football. Went right through your arms. The Chiefs are done. Are they a playoff team still? I think they are. I think they're going to go to New York and win. There's a potential for the Giants to win the football game. And yes, the Giants will cover as well. The Chiefs are just not that good anymore. They don't run the ball well. And yeah, the Eagles are a good team. Chargers are a good team. They don't run the ball. Mahomes is not the same guy right now. 16 for 29 passing. The Chiefs' run is over. Are they still a playoff team? 100%. Their run of winning championships and going to the Super Bowl every single year, it's over. They're not on the Patriots level, okay? This is just, it's it, all right? They're just another playoff team now. Nobody's scared of the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025 with an aging Travis Kelce. And yeah, Rashee Rice comes back eventually. Xavier Worthy comes back. Well, right now, they're not playing, so I don't care. And also, what is this nonsense about free Rashee Rice? He chose to get into a car, intoxicated, and drive 100+ miles an hour. And you are wearing free 4 shirts? He accepted the 6-game suspension. It's not like he was wrongfully convicted of a crime. He got into a car and drove 100+ miles an hour and could have killed somebody. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm pretty sure he was intoxicated. Was he not? It was a DUI. It wasn't just speeding. I'm fairly certain it was a DUI. Right? I'm like 100% certain it was a DUI. Guys, I don't want to take too much. There was a crash. There was an injury. It was just maybe it wasn't drunk. It was just hit and run. I don't care what it was. Guys, Henry Ruggs went to prison because he killed somebody because he was driving fast. I'm sure there's a DUI in there too, but he should have gone to prison. He's getting out soon, I think. But that could have happened to Rashee. If Rashee Rice killed somebody, he wouldn't be playing football anymore. And I'm glad nobody died, obviously, and that's great. Rashi could have been Henry Ruggs. He got lucky nobody passed away. So there's no freeing 4. He got a 6-game suspension. He accepted the suspension. Fine. I hope he never does it again. But that should be the end of it. We will see him in week 7, not free 4. He was the one who got into a car and drove 100 plus miles an hour. He was in control of the car. That's all I'm going to say about that. Next up, and he decided to hit and run too. Come on now. Ridiculous. Final game of the week, we go to Monday Night Football. The Detroit Lions go on the road to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the Detroit Lions. Yep. I think it was a bad matchup week 1 against the Packers. The Packers caught him off guard. Dan Campbell's first game without Aaron Glenn, his first game without Ben Johnson. Now they will go on the road and they will beat the Baltimore Ravens, who are not going to be able to win the big game this week. Okay? They're not going to be able to win the big game. I am taking Detroit to get it done. I'm taking Jared Goff to get it done. I look what the Lions did last week, and boy, am I impressed, right? Detroit with a huge game. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3 touchdowns. When their offense is clicking, which it was last week, they are so difficult to stop. Yeah, the defense is not great anymore. It's decent. It's not great. And that's where they're going to have a lot of troubles with Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. Do not get me wrong. We are going to see a shootout on Monday Night Football. You want to talk about all-time great games? Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Rams from way back when with Goff and Mahomes. Oh, this is going to be that all-time game. This is going to be a high-scoring shootout. This is going to be one of the best games of the season. You thought week 1 was good with the Ravens and Bills? Yeah, this one's going to be pretty good too. Over-under 52.5 for this game. Yeah, Vegas expects a lot of points. It's the most points on the over-under this week. And yeah, there will be 1 million points scored. I don't know how many stops the Lions are going to be able to get. I don't think the Ravens are going to be able to get many stops. Josh Allen tears that defense apart. Jared Goff will tear that defense apart as well. Jared Goff, I know there's no running ability out of Goff. Goff is still a top 5 quarterback when he's playing at his best. All right, he's a great reader of the defense. He throws an elite football, and he's throwing to Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and he's got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs, who might be the best running back in the NFL. Yikes. Baltimore's great too, right? Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, they are a difficult run game to stop. And oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson is an elite passer of the football too. Something he doesn't get credit for. Oh, he's just a runner. No. Lamar Jackson is a historically great quarterback and a historically great throwing quarterback. The problem with Lamar Jackson is his team can never get it done in the clutch. That's what's not going to happen on Monday Night Football. Monday night, you're at home, and the Lions will find a way to beat you. I believe so. Lions get a full week to prepare for this. All right? They're coming off a win where they scored 52 points. That game last week reminded me, okay, that's what the Lions were last year. When the Jaguars would walk into that building, when the Titans would walk into that building, and they blow them out by 50 points. That's what last week was. All right? That's the Lions that were the number 1 seed last year. Yeah, they have a difficult schedule. They play a lot of tough teams, but they just needed a game like that to get going, in my opinion. And now they are going to get going. All right? You sign Jameson Williams to that big extension. By the way, I love Isaac Tesla, the rookie out of Arkansas. That dude's a talent. His only catches so far in the NFL are one-handed snags. It's insane. So you found Tesla in the 3rd round, who's going to be a great receiver 3. Basically, just fills the Tim Patrick role now, just a little bit quicker. Khalif Raymond's there too, but Tesla's the 3rd receiver in my opinion. That's what the Lions are capable of. Yeah, will it be difficult to get stops against Lamar and the Ravens? It will, and they'll struggle with that some. But I do believe the Lions are going to win this football game. I like what Baltimore's doing, don't get me wrong, right? That big win over Cleveland. Defense looks good, but you look good against Joe Flacco and the Browns, where, how much help does Joe really have? And Joe is 40, right? Flacco's 40 years of age. You get Jared Goff, who is just what Joe Flacco is right now, but 3 times better, who's 10 years younger and is a guy who's always in the top 5 of passing yards every single season. Statistically, you don't hear Goff get the credit he deserves. Jared Goff is a historically elite quarterback. And he's an all-time quarterback at that, too. In the day and age where you don't see pocket passers anymore, guys, Jared Goff's going to finish his career as a top 10 statistical passer of all time, potentially top 5 if he plays another 10 years, which he probably will. I'm serious. Jared Goff's going to be in the top 5, I think, of passing yards all time, at least top 10. And this offense, right, it's what Jared Goff does. He plays every game, doesn't take chances, doesn't get injured because he doesn't run. That usually is a good formula for a quarterback. So people don't want to hear it, but Jared Goff is really good. Jared Goff is elite. Jared Goff is top 5. Is Lamar top 2? Oh, he is. But Goff's in there. Goff's in the top 5 as well. I think the Lions win the game. I don't think the Ravens, I think they're going to be able to keep up. But this is going to be one of these crazy shootout games. And I'm going to take the team that's pass heavy over the run heavy team here. I'm going to. A team that's seeing a lot of success in the pass game. I think the big play is going to break Baltimore. And I think eventually the Lions will find their stops. I don't think the Ravens are going to be able to stop this pass game. Josh Allen torched them for 250 yards in a quarter, 220 yards in a quarter in week 1. Jared Goff will see a lot of success in the pass game as well. Expect 400-plus yards for Goff this week, 4-plus touchdowns. He will have an all-time week, I think. And the Lions are going to walk into Baltimore and win the football game. Give me Detroit Lions money line. You can keep your points. I'll probably play the points, honestly. But I'll play both. Plus 5.5, plus 225. Give me the Lions to walk into Baltimore and beat the Baltimore Ravens. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NFL Week number 3 predictions. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to comment. If you just agree with any of the picks, folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.